Brad Williams, Frugal Finance Net Present Value Method. What are we going to do here? We're going to compute the net present value of two different scenarios. One is the maintenance cost, buying a new pressure washer, then the other is upgrading a tool machine. What's critical here is what you're trying to compare here. A net negative net present value generally indicate the cost. What you have to do is, in this particular case, buying a pressure washer versus leasing. You're going to have to do a comparison, and what you're trying to determine in this particular case, a pressure washer was purchased for $16K with a life of 5 years and sold for $3,000. Maintenance is $4,000 a year with 12% annual interest costs. What is the net present value? What we're doing is pretty simple. All we're doing is taking this number. Here's the cash flow. And all we're doing is putting net present value. So net present value, our C24 is going to be our interest rate. Our C25 is our initial upfront costs right here. Here's your cash flows. And then times 1 plus C24, again, is our rate to come up with this cash flow. And then if you ever want to discount it. So what does this mean? This means that your costs are going to equate to, we can see that a single expenditure of $28,717 at time zero is equivalent to the cash flow profile from pressure washer, which is $50,609. What does that mean? That means over time, this thing's going to cost $50,609 over the 5-year period. What you need to do is look at this in comparison to a lease. Upgrading a tooling machine will cost $10,000 with an extended life of 6 years and no salvage value. Income will increase as a result of this. And that's the other thing you want to do. When you're looking at this pressure washer, what we're not looking at as compared to here is what will this expenditure have in terms of your profitability? Will this increase your sales? And if not, then why are you buying this new pressure washer? You also want to look at rent. Would you rent this thing? If you look at a rent situation, whatever you're doing on the other end, you have to do a cost analysis as to this added expenditure. In this example, we're going to see upgrading a tooling machine will cost $10,000, but it's going to increase sales by 15%. And if this number is positive, then it makes sense to upgrade this machine. We're going to spend $10,000, but the net present value after discounting all of this stuff is $1,530. So we're going to be making more than this 15%. So you can do internal rate of return, and it's 20%. Pretty nifty, huh? When you're doing something like this, we have this negative 28717 compared to what? You need to do something like this. You have to do a full-blown analysis as to justify buying this pressure washer and doing a net present value, equating to some benefit. Looking at this present value, it just indicates there's a long-term expense there, and it has to be offset by an increase in revenue somewhere. Brad Williams, Frugal Finance. See you soon.